Jack DeJohnette, you've played with just about everybody who's a great jazz player, but I understand your history with Stanley and Chick isn't as storied. How long have you been working with these two guys?
Well, you know, Stanley and I played together in the, or shall we say, in the 60s or somewhere back there. We don't want to reveal, but anyway.
Yeah, early 70s, real early.
Yeah, and we worked with, did some things with McCoy, and what else did we do? We did, well, actually, three of us did something with McLaughlin, right?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, me, you, and Chick, we did.
We did the Electric John, it was called. John Electric, was it called Electric John? Yeah. So but we weren't really officially. We just came in and played one track. You know? Mm-hmm. But I played with Stanley. Well, for a few years back, we connected again, and you know, he came back out after. You know, sort of focusing on his other things, like, you know, writing music for screens and for movies, and you know, I was really excited. We hooked up and we played a gig in New York with McCoy Tyner and Gary Bartz.
Wow, nice.
And I mean, you know, I think both of us kind of thought, man, I forgot how good that felt. You know, and like I said, yeah.
You forget sometimes, like,
yeah,
play with people and. You know, you remember the great things. It's like anything in life, you know. And we have such a nice feel really natural playing with him, you know. So.
Well, all three of you guys are so busy and have all put out some really terrific records, lots of them lately. So we're thrilled to have you all here together at the same time.
Yeah, so are we.
Now, Jack, I'm sure most jazz fans know you as a drummer, but you're a wonderful pianist as well. In fact, that was your first instrument. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if the two instruments influence each other, or is one your stronger instrument? How do you feel that works out?
Oh, they definitely influence each other. I mean, from playing the piano, I mean, I got you know, I found out a lot about drumming from playing the piano, because different drummers bring out different aspects of your creativity, you know, and so depending on what music you write, you know, Chick and Stanley can attest to that. You know, when you want a certain thing for your music, you'll call a certain drummer, because that drummer, oh, so-and-so will fit this really perfect. You know, oh, no, this will be great for this. And so by, you know, playing piano myself in situations with different drummers, I, you know, check out different drummers that would bring out other things, you know, the highest level of, you know, creativity. So I got a view from that perspective, and then playing drums myself, you know, knowing the harmony, you know, and the melody, and knowing what's going on in the form and the chord changes. I also think of the drums like a piano too. So it's a orchestral instrument to me. You know, the cymbals are like the sustain pedals, you know, are to the piano. You know, so you know, they connect up a lot of things. So as a result, it helped me, you know, respond to the music in certain ways that, like, you know, if Chick plays a harmonic voicing, you know, it'll set off a rhythm, or it'll set off a tone, you know, certain tones that I've got, you know, tuned on my drums, or it may bring out a cymbal, you know, or Stanley might play something, you know, a rhythm or some notes, or repeat them, and then that'll set me off on another space. But I think the best thing is, you know, I played decent piano, but, you know, when I came to New York, you know, I got hired as a drummer, and I thought, well, you know, I may just do better doing this, making the drums my main thing. I just keep the piano happening; it helps me write, and I still like to improvise and every now and then. And but the plus for me playing with the drums was that I got to play with all these great piano players from the drum chair, you know, and bassists. You know, I got to play with, you know, with Gary Peacock and Eddie Gomez, and so, you know. But the piano part, you know, it's I've learned a lot about the instrument through osmosis, just playing with everybody, all these great players,
Do you think
McCoy.
playing with these great players developed your style, or do you think you pretty much had the drums figured out young and would just adapt to each setting? Was there a growth period you'd go through with each different band you played with, like Charles Lloyd, Miles Davis, Keith Jarrett? Was it a whole new set of skills?
Well, no, it was just a vibration, an intuitive thing of learning how to play what the music called for. Some music was, like for instance, Joanne Barkeem's music was very, very organized. So I had to figure out, the challenge for that was playing precisely what she wrote and also making it flow, And she used to get Eddie Gomez and I, because she thought we did a good job of, interpreting her music. But I mean, it was challenging, but it was rewarding too. The challenges that came through that, it was really great. So
Jack DeJohnette is here with Stanley Clarke bass and Chick Corea piano. They're at Jazz Alley tonight through Sunday in Seattle. Get on down, enjoy the sun during the day and the jazz at night. Your new record, Jack, Sound Travels, a lot of people are calling it your best record yet, and it is fantastic. A lot of terrific players on there. All the songs were written by you. Do you feel like there's a common theme or a common thread? I mean, certainly stylistically, it's got a lot of different things going on.
Well, it was an opportunity, my wife Lydia, was saying, it's your 70th birthday, and, she's saying, you should do something special, because Herbie and Chick were celebrating that, 70th. When Chick says, when you get that zero, you get stretch it. So, I talked to great jazz head of the E1, who's distributing our label on, Golden Beams, and he liked the idea. My wife pitched the idea to him, and then he said, "Well, okay, let's do something. What do you got in mind?" I told him who the players were, and he said, "The only one thing, you got to play piano on it." So I said, well, okay, I'll play maybe one track or something. But as the recording went on, and also I got Bob Saden to produce it. And so as we worked, and Bob was really, really great to work with. And I was set all the tunes on a chord, give them 3 the sequences, so I played all the parts and arrangements so everybody could, send them to them so they could get an idea of what I wanted. And I'd send him to Bob, and Bob was like, "This is great." He's going on the phone. I'm over in Nice, playing these things on the telephone. To Bob said, "Great, I love it. What else you got?" So, I sent these all, and then we got everybody together, all the names on the record, the younger players.
Esperanza Spalding sounds great on this new record.
Yeah. Ambrose Acamusier, Tim Maurice, Luisito Quintero,
Lionel Lueke is fantastic.
Yeah, Lionel, and Jason Moran came and played on one track. And got a great surprise from Bruce Hornsby, who I written this piece. It was dedicated to Levon Helm, the late Levon Helm, a good friend of mine, and great member of the band, which is one of my favorite groups. And it's in 7/4 and 4/4, and it was dedicated to Levon and New Orleans, So I said to Bruce, "You like this?" I just took a chance, and he said, "Yeah, send it to me. Send me the track." So we sent him the track, and he wrote these lyrics to The Dirty Ground. And he's actually now playing it incorporated in his band, the Noisemakers. And actually, there's a version of it on YouTube. You can see at the New Orleans Jazz Festival.
It's a great record. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Jack DeJohnette's Sound Travels is the new release. Go check that out, as well as recent records from Chick Corea, Stanley Clarke here on piano and bass. Let's hear another song from this all-star trio. The Jack DeJohnette Trio is live at Jazz Alley tonight through Sunday, and right now, live in the studios here on KPLU.